Welcome to The Explainer. What if I told you that everything you believe about where your money comes from is wrong? Today we're exploring a pretty radical idea from our source material that suggests the key to financial abundance isn't about working harder, it's about thinking in a completely different way.
So let's just start with a foundational question. Where does your money really come from? If you said your job or your customers or maybe your employer, you're definitely not alone. But according to the source we're digging into today, that very belief might be the one thing that's holding you back financially.
And this is the core claim from our source material. It's a bold statement, right? It challenges the very foundation of our economic reality. The idea that money comes from people is, fundamentally, a deception.
So this brings us to our first major step, unlearning. To truly receive from the universe, you first have to break free from this mental cage that tells you your income is controlled and, more importantly, limited by other people.
Yeah, this belief basically puts you in a box. By seeing your job or your clients as the only source, you unknowingly put a ceiling on your own potential. But what if there's another way? Let's explore the alternative framework they're proposing.
This leads us to a fundamental choice. The source material proposes that there are two completely distinct financial systems, and we get to decide which one we live in, the world system or the universe's system. And the difference between them is, well, it's stark. On one hand, you've got the world system, a reality defined by limitation, where getting money from other people often leads to stress and worry. But on the other hand, you have the universe's system, where the source is infinite, which fosters a sense of calm and true abundance.
So how in the world do you make the switch? How do you tap into that infinite source? Well, it all begins with understanding a core spiritual concept, the law of oneness.
The law of oneness suggests that even though we all look and feel separate, we are all fundamentally connected. The source uses a great analogy. You might see two separate glasses of water, but they could have both come from the same underground spring. We're all just part of a single, unified source.
Now, if we follow this law, it means your external reality, your job, your relationships, your bank account, is really just a mirror. It isn't creating your experience. It's just reflecting your internal state, your dominant thoughts and feelings, what the source calls your frequency. So the crucial point is this. To change what you see in the mirror, you don't go and try to change the reflection. You have to change yourself. Your perception and your experience of the world are dictated entirely by your internal state of being.
This raises a really important question, though. If money doesn't actually come from people, then what is their role in our financial lives? What are they even doing there?
According to this philosophy, people are not the source of your wealth. Instead, think of them as channels or instruments, kind of like the delivery system through which the universe provides for you.
Think of it like this. The universe is the infinite reservoir of water. People, your job, your clients, they're just the faucets, and you are the one receiving the flow. The key thing is, the faucet doesn't create the water, it just lets it pass through.
So, what determines the flow? What controls whether you experience a tiny little trickle or a powerful torrent of abundance? According to the source, that valve is controlled by a quality called inner stability. And here's where it gets really practical. When your internal state is one of insecurity, filled with worry, fear, and stress, you are actively tightening that valve, pinching off the flow. But when you cultivate inner stability, a state of calm and peace, you're basically opening the faucet wide open. Okay, this brings us to the final and honestly the most actionable piece of this entire puzzle. How do you actually do it? How do you cultivate that inner stability and shift your internal state to one of abundance? This is the key. You absolutely cannot wait for your bank account to be full before you allow yourself to feel abundant. The process works in reverse. You have to generate the feeling of abundance and wealth within yourself first, and then your external world, that mirror we talked about, will reflect it back to you.
Let that one sink in. Abundance isn't a number. It's an inner state of being. It's a feeling you actively cultivate, completely independent of your current circumstances. You have to feel it before you see it.
So what's the first step to feeling abundant right now? The source suggests you start with this simple but really profound question. The goal isn't to fixate on what's missing, but to generate the feeling you desire right now. By genuinely exploring that feeling, you begin to shift your frequency, you open the faucet, and you align with the universe's infinite supply. So the real takeaway isn't about getting more money from the universe, it's about realizing that you are the universe and abundance is just a feeling away.